Hey guys, it's the team here at Authentic Mission, and I want to talk to you about something that I've kind of talked about before, but sometimes things need repeating. And I'm going to talk to you about the racing mind. Okay? Now that can trigger anxiety, that can trigger anger, that can trigger depression, that can trigger pity within. And by that I mean, look, I mentioned it a little while ago about my work kind of keeps me busy, and I feel like I'm actually doing something with my life. And I love writing, and I'm always writing, I'm always brainstorming. I've got about 5 or 6 different script ideas in my head. But from watching YouTube videos and listening to other writers and directors talk about their process, if you look, there's stories everywhere. But anyways, I'll mention that in another video later today. But the one part I want to talk about is the racing mind. I was doing really, really good with work. And so was a friend of mine. And then we were both cyber attacked. I don't mean like hacked. I don't mean that sort of thing. But then, I mean like bullied and made to feel like pieces of crap because of things people don't understand, including us. And from doing this work and speaking out about peer pressure and finding yourself before you lose yourself and the ability to do that, which can happen. You end up trying to be so many things to so many different people that you can't really, when you calm down and you start focusing on what matters in life, you start to think, okay, who am I? Am I this guy that just wants to take it easy and just live life, and am I okay living on social assistance because of my disability? Or am I a guy that needs love or a relationship of a romantic nature? And then you kind of look at people that have that, and but everything can just race and come together in some big ball of frustration, anger, and depression. And that's part of what I want to talk about today, is the fact that, without my work, my mind's always racing. Not to bad things, not to anything that shouldn't be thought of, but to things like, you start watching the news, and I believe in watching the news or following around what's going on in the world, but you start to think, what's this world coming to? What is the meaning of life? And then you start thinking, what do I want in my life? You start thinking of the past, because sometimes dark energies try to make you feel like pieces of crap, and you start to think, God won't forgive me for things even I didn't understand, which God does forgive, but you have to mean it. And that's still one thing that I struggle with. There's more than one thing in terms of who am I? Do I need a relationship? And I've gone back and forth. No, I don't need a relationship. I wasted 5 years. I just want to do my work. And I want to write. And I want to make a difference. Like Norman Lear did. Like Norman Lear did. Like Steven Spielberg did. Countless other authors and artists and writers, and and then you look at your family that's, they've got good jobs and they've got their families and and then you're like, do I want that? And that kind of comes back to the surface. And then when my work started getting attacked, and when my company started getting attacked, and my friends' companies started getting attacked, I was like, right down at the bottom of the barrel. I was thinking of, honestly, suicide every I don't know, third day that I wasn't working. When I'm not working, you start to feel like, well, I started to feel like useless, like I failed, like I had every chance in the world and I blew it. And then you start to think, you start to hear different things from different people about you that say things about you that they don't know. And then and your mind just races and races. And I remember calling a mental health person that comes and checks on me once a year to make sure I'm okay. And I'm like, I'm finally happy with who I am, and I'm finally this, and I'm finally that, and I'm doing my own research, and I'm being safe, and I'm being safe from what I research. What I meant by that was, with the videos I've done on different aspects of pop culture and internet safety, and I can't read that well. Okay, I can read when my assistant's here. I can read when it's early in the day and my eyes aren't bothering me, but I never stop until it's ready for bed, because that's the only thing I can control is my work. And sometimes you get worried that your work is going to be misunderstood, and your overthinking is going to be misunderstood, and then you start to wonder, like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And like, when it rains, it pours, man. It pours, because I did extensive therapy. I did a lot of praying. I found a church. Everything was good with that church. Then we had a falling out over different financial aspects and actually business aspects. And I love the people at the church. I honestly do. But the politics is there. And then everything came bubbling up to the surface, and people trying to pray against lifestyles and stuff. So then I went, and you have to reach out for help. When you feel it, when you feel a struggle, when you feel overwhelmed, reach out for help, okay? And I did that twice. I found workshops, I found a counselor, I found another counselor, and now I'm doing this work in the Thrive book, and I've mentioned it more than once. But sometimes in this small place I live in, you kind of wonder, do I need to go to Toronto to get my research in the right hands, or to explain different aspects of what I've prayed about and researched? And I believe we can learn from different people's stories. That's why I love YouTube. That's why I love studying pop culture, because there's so many aspects of it that the producers, honestly, I don't even think they realize. Whether it be music promoters or movie promoters, and I've talked about it. There's the Sex and the Media video. There's another video coming out. There's another video that we did about coming out and the struggle and how media can affect that. And is it too much now of trying to accept it, or is it cashing in on trying to look how exclusive we are? That's why I've done these videos, because everything is connected. And I'm just trying to figure it out on my own and figure out what made my mind race. Because in high school, you see people going on dates or going to the movies, and then you see people talking about, whoa, so-and-so are a couple. And, like, in high school, you don't know what real love is. It's rare. I mean, there is stories of people that, have 60 years wedding anniversaries and stuff like that. But nowadays, that's more rare. So then, like, when I was attacked, all this stuff from my adolescence and who am I and all that came back up, in the sense of, like, it doesn't matter what kind of work I do, I'm going to get attacked again, and I have my chance to make a difference. It doesn't matter. And that sucks. I can't quit. You can't let your mind race. The only time that I can calm down now is work and writing and smoking a little bit of God's plant. But due to budget-wise, you can only do that so many times in a month, and so many times in a, like, if I had my budget, I would smoke a gram a day. Like, that's what I'm allowed. And that's what I do want to bake and stuff. If I can get the budget and I can cook thanks to the budget, I would do that too. But I mean, like, if the business would take off and I could feel like I'm actually making a difference in this world, I would smoke more than a couple times a week, because that's the only time I can actually calm down and slow down the thoughts and just pray to God and let God, and there's a sense of peace that comes over that. Now, some people can say, well, it's the weed and it's not God, but if you can pray and get the negative, you're a loser, it doesn't matter how much you work kind of thoughts out of your head, then you can you can connect with God. And I'm just now trying to make a journal of the thousands, and I'm not kidding, thousands of thoughts that go through my head every day. Like missing certain people in my life that have passed away. Missing as crazy as it sounds, when you're a kid, you're like, I can't wait to grow up. And then when you actually grow up and realize that the world sucks on some level, you're like, I want to be a kid again. And I've talked about the struggles of when I was a kid and all that, but I know my parents had their issues. Everybody does. But a lot of it now, I've realized, is my own internal self-esteem issues, even as a kid. And that probably comes from having a disability and just wanting classmates to accept you and stuff. Look, I've talked about different aspects of things, but that's because you have to talk about more than one side of things, because there isn't just one side of things. There isn't just one thing that makes a situation happen. There isn't just one thing that makes God come into your life. I mean, like, you've heard people say, well, I've smoked and it cured my cancer. Like smoking weed, and it can. But like I said before, prayer has to go with that. So once we understand the thousands and thousands of things that go through people's heads every day, and you can write them down and come up with ways to say screw you, and like, if you've got a negative thought, and I'm saying this just as much to myself as I am to you. If you got a negative thought about yourself, then sit there and go, okay, well, why am I not a loser? Why should I keep going with my dreams? Why shouldn't I just quit and live on a fixed income for the rest of my life and just be comfortable with that? I mean, on some level, you think you should be comfortable with that, because there's people in Africa, people in different countries starving, right? And that is a shame, and we need to pray for them. But what's wrong in life with wanting something better? It's finding a balance for you that makes the difference. Like, you can't strive. Like I said before, I'm not striving to be rich. I'm striving to be comfortable. And yesterday and this year has been a real struggle for me personally, because, like I said, when it rains, it pours. Because I had the falling out with the church, and I had just finished my therapy with the program I was in, and I thought everything's going to be better. And I was still living with a person that was negative, and still, on some level, I would say one minute I was gay, and then a couple of days later I would say I'm not. I wouldn't say if I was gay or not, because I had this thought in my head that, what if I'm wrong? What if I am going to go to hell? Right? And then, There's thousands and thousands of thoughts. What we need to do when you're in a bad anxiety moment and you if you've got some of God's plant that can help you stay awake in the day and you can smoke and still function, then smoke and pray. But if you don't, you only have the nighttime stuff, then just call a friend, call it like I was on the verge of quitting. I was thinking of suicide once a week. And I just thought, I can't keep living like this. I didn't care about, I cared about family, but I just thought, you know what, they're going to know I'm okay. And there's thousands and thousands of thoughts that just go through, and like, I'm the one that puts the pressure on myself. I know that. Because I want to be off disability. I'm watching my grandparents get older. And they're struggling. And they help me. And I want to be comfortable for them. I don't want to be rich. I just want to be comfortable for them. Where they don't got to worry about me no more. Where, when you're younger, you don't think about your grandparents getting older. Like, oh, damn, he's 80. Or, oh, damn, she's 81. They're not going to be around for 20 more years. Although with today's technology, who knows? But I don't know if I'd want to be around at 100. If I can function and stuff like that, sure. But if that's a whole other conversation anyway. I'm going off topic here. But I'm going to start in my journal, putting a thought section, and writing down every bad thing I've thought of myself. When those moments, you can't do it when you're in a good mood, because then it won't be as authentic. You have to do it when you're in a bad mood so you can actually think of what your process is when it's negative. And then when you're in a good mood, or even when you're in that bad mood, you can probably put yourself in a good mood by going, okay, this is one side. Now, let's see if I can write as many good things or more good things about my life. Excuse me. And if I told you every thought that goes through my head, you'd think, holy crap, this guy's crazy. Not in terms of, like, hurting anybody or hurting myself, but in terms of, like, why does he think so much drama? Why? Like, I'm telling you, when it's in that moment, it can be freaky. Because you're like, I miss this person, I miss that person, why did I have to screw this part up? Why did I let this person take advantage of me? Why did I try to convince myself that this person was my friend and they weren't? Why did I, why isn't this friend around me anymore? It must be because they don't like me. I could sit there and tell you, oh yeah, I used to have friends pop over all the time and all this, and I did. My closest friend, she used to pop over all the time. Now she never does. And it hurts, but I don't know what's going on in her life. Do I wish she would tell me so I can maybe be there for her? Yeah. But I can't get into her mind. I can't fix her. I can only focus on me. Just like you can only focus on you. And yeah, try to do good for people. Try to live by the golden rule. But don't let that rule your life. You need as much time for your dreams, your soul, and yourself. Later.